A racist murder.
LaShawn Bowles, Devonna Walker's mother, calls her daughter's death a murder, even knowing what happens in the video.
I seen it. I didn't hear it. I let my sister and family tell me what's on it because I don't want to see it. My baby laying on the ground like that.
Jermaine Cooper, the organizer behind Parents Against Violence Everywhere, said he also knew Devonna. He rejects allegations the stabbing was in self-defense and says he believes this case is bigger than Devonna, saying it's also about how police respond to accusations of racist acts.
I feel my life like it's not like right now it's bigger, like it's for Devonna, but it's bigger than Devonna. It's as a community, it's as a race now because we don't know what's next.
"29-year-old Devonna Walker is described as one of the most caring and kind-hearted individuals you could ever meet. Most importantly, she was a mother of 3 to 2 boys and a baby girl. She did whatever it took to make sure her kids wanted for nothing. They meant the world to her, and she meant the world to them. Never could anyone have imagined that Devonna would be at the center of a case that would rock the city of Cedar Rapids to the core." Around 6:45 p.m., Cedar Rapids police responded to the Cambridge townhomes in the 2100 block of Northtown Court Northeast for reports of a stabbing. Upon arrival, they would find a woman lying in the grass, suffering from a stab wound. The victim was identified as 29-year-old Devonna Walker, who was taken to a local hospital where she sadly succumbed to her injuries. Officers on the scene were informed that an argument ensued between Devonna and 2 neighbors who were detained by police but were quickly released after being questioned. No charges were filed. A witness at the scene informed police that Devonna had in fact been stabbed by the male neighbor who in the past harassed Devonna with the use of racial slurs as well as allowing his dogs to attack her. Her mother recounted the situation on December 1st when she was with Devonna as the same neighbors began to harass her. She stated, "I was out there with her in one situation, and I actually called the police. He had these dogs attack us. He came out calling us the N-word and had the dogs attack us." A close friend of Devonna also stated that a few days prior to her murder, she expressed that she did not feel safe around her neighbors. Devonna's mother says she wants the man who stabbed her daughter charged and convicted. A little over a week after the January 2nd incident, a controversial 15-minute cell phone video captures the moments leading up to the fatal stabbing. It starts about 3 minutes before the stabbing with Devonna and at least 2 other people shouting at each other. Devonna and a woman in a black sweatshirt holding a dog's leash are arguing about a previous alleged attack. The woman in black says,
"Come back after me again. I'm going to press charges again." Please just get inside.
The argument keeps going for another 90 seconds or so. It gets more heated, more personal, until that man shouts a racial slur at Walker. As the woman in the black sweatshirt turns and starts to walk back towards the door, Walker re-enters the frame and charges her, pushes her to the ground in front of the door.
As the commotion escalated, it appeared that Devonna was stabbed by the male, as she can be seen collapsing seconds later. About 6.5 minutes pass before police arrive and first responders start administering CPR. Devonna's mother continues to call her death a murder, despite seeing the video. She continues to express her frustration with the lack of communication from investigators.
"The hardest part is y'all ain't kept me up informed on nothing at all. You ain't knocked on my door."
The wait for answers continues tonight, almost a week after the first homicide of 2023 in Cedar Rapids. 29-year-old Devonna Walker was stabbed last Monday night on the northeast side, died after being taken to the hospital. We know 2 people were detained and questioned that night, but they've been released since then, and really we haven't heard anything about the case in these past 6 days. Tonight, though, we're hearing from Walker's mother as she and a lot of others wonder what's holding things up. It's an Eyewitness News Now exclusive.
I found out at 6:30. I get a phone call saying that she was stabbed.
That's how LaShawn Bowles learned about the stabbing that killed her daughter. Devonna Walker died on January 2nd after that stabbing at Cambridge Townhomes in northeast Cedar Rapids.
My son said I'll go up there and check because I was at work. And he texted me and said that she didn't make it.
Bowles says since that night at the hospital, the only time she's talked with police was a visit to them she made herself.
Friday, I went to the police station and I wanted to know what's going on. How come no one's knocked on my door? No police, nobody's contacted me. I don't know, I don't even know where my baby at. I ain't seen her since this all happened.
While she waits for answers, Bowles is now taking care of Walker's 3 kids, 2 boys and a 10-week-old girl.
She just had the little girl, so she was very thrilled about that. She been wanting a girl.
Cedar Rapids Police Chief Wayne German and Lynn County Attorney Nick Maybanks released a joint statement saying it could be common for cases like this to take several weeks or even months, and that they are both investigating. Advocates for social justice are demanding answers in the case. They want the medical examiner's report released and to arrest the people responsible for Devonna's death. In their statement to police, they said the following. As of Tuesday, January 10th, Devonna's mother had repeatedly sought assistance from the Cedar Rapids Police Department. She did not have information regarding the case. She did not have the findings of Devonna's autopsy report, and she had not received Devonna's body in order to move forward with funeral preparations. We recognize that this is an active and ongoing investigation. However, the absence of an arrest and lack of transparency with the case further erodes trust between the Black community and law enforcement. According to the FBI, hate crimes are not only an attack on the victim, they are meant to threaten and intimidate an entire community. The racist nature of Devonna's killing should be met with the utmost seriousness and pursued to the furthest extent permitted by law. The community demands that Devonna Walker receive justice, answers, and accountability. Specific demands are 1. Release the medical examiner's findings and release Devonna's body to her mother. 2. Arrest and charge Devonna's murderers. 3. Affirm that Cedar Rapids officials and agencies involved in this matter demonstrate that Black lives matter, that Black people are worthy of the same protection and treatment as white people. Our community has demonstrated the capacity to unite in order to push for greater racial and social justice. ASJ will continue to support community efforts that support transparency, advocacy, and public awareness. To that end, ASJ invites the public to join us for the protest organized by Parents Against Violence Everywhere, also known as PAVE, at the Cedar Rapids Police Department at 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday, January 11th, 2023.
We begin tonight with the calls for an arrest in the stabbing death of Devonna Walker last week. In a moment, we will show you news footage of Walker's death, but first, friends and family are making their voices heard. Tonight, those who knew Devonna Walker took to the streets outside CRPD headquarters. Organizers tell us they feel investigators are not treating this homicide the same as cases with a white victim.
It's not up to the police department to create a defense for her killer, and having given that there is testimonies from witnesses, eyewitnesses, there's video footage of the killing, there's absolutely no excuse for an arrest not having been made at this point. The Black community, the brown community, mostly the Black community, does not feel protected by the police. They don't feel like they are given the same due diligence under the law as white people are.
Besides the arrest of the person who stabbed Walker, the advocates for social justice want investigators to release the medical examiner's report and see more city leaders getting involved.
Protesters stood across the street from the Cedar Rapids Police Department tonight, demanding an arrest of the person who stabbed Devonna Walker. Angelina Ramirez, the vice president of Advocates for Social Justice, said she believes investigators have not been transparent.
The racialized language that the man who murdered Devonna used, we think that this case needs immediate attention and that an arrest should be made. It's not up to the police to create a defense for the killer. It's up to his defense team.
PAVE, also known as Parents Against Violence Everywhere, says they will continue to host protests until an arrest is made in the case. The Cedar Rapids Police Department and the Lynn County Attorney's Office released the following statement. We understand the family and friends of Devonna Walker and our greater community want answers as to what happened that led to Devonna Walker losing her life. We want answers as well, and that is why the Cedar Rapids Police Department and the Lynn County Attorney's Office are continuing to work together on this ongoing investigation. There has been a growing level of inaccurate information coursing through social media and other channels. This kind of speculative commentary is potentially hurtful to the family and our community. Devonna has 3 children and several other family members who are grieving her loss. A GoFundMe page has been set up on behalf of the family, which states that any money donated will go towards supporting her children. The case remains ongoing.